Welcome to Running Free with JH. This is JH. That's me, John Henry. Today I want to talk about my December running experiment. I haven't really got to talk about this that much because I've been keeping to myself about how the running works. I don't want to blast it on social media, on my Instagram, Facebook places. Some people who have talked about it kind of know what I'm doing, but majority of people don't. I've came up with an idea years ago when I wanted to get back in shape because I had to do it a couple times. After a motorcycle accident, I had to do it. Coming back from just falling out of running and then starting to get back into shape again, I did it. I came up with this idea that I didn't want to jog every day. I wanted to push myself. But we all know that we need recovery, right? Now, you know that if you have recovery, like most runs, you have a fast run and then your average elites, or maybe your people that are in training clubs and everything. They do track workouts, hill workouts, sprints, whatever. They have a track day, then they have 1 or 2 days where they do recovery. Then they do that track work, then they have a day off or two or recovery, and then they do a long run, right? So you're getting 2 runs a week that are basically at a fast pace, a tempo, a fartlek, track speed, whatever it is. And I kept telling myself I didn't want to wait 4 or 5 months to get in shape. I wanted to get my shape faster. So when I started in September of this year, because today is the 12th of December, and and which is over a little over 100 days ago, I came back, started after getting from rehab. I started up again on September 1st. First mile, as hard as I could. I couldn't get anywhere close to the 8-minute mile pace. 8:30s was more where I had to shoot for, and I could barely hold that for 10 minutes the first day. I tried to do a little bit on the second day, but we're getting closer to 15. That was pushing it. And at 12 minutes in, it's like I was dying and it was slowly pushing it. Now, fast forward 3 months later, I'm under 7 minute mile pace for my runs and I'm doing good. But how I did it was I took the 2 fast days a week that normally happens and I made them happen quicker. Meaning is your average person gets 2 fast days in a long run a week and the rest of them are easy and recoveries or day offs. I said, well, can I do more fast days in a week or in a month and have less easy days or days off? So what I started doing was taking them and putting them the fast days back to back. I would do a fast day, and the next day I'd do the same fast day, and then I would do a third fast day. What I learned very quickly that third fast day doesn't really work so well. Your legs don't pop as good. When I say pop, I mean they don't feel as loose. They feel tight. They feel lethargic. They feel heavy. So in my mind, I decided that, you know what, let's do back-to-back fast days and then have a recovery day. And that's how I started this whole coming back. It'd be back-to-back fast days and an easy day or recovery day if you want to call it that. And then back-to-back fast day, recovery day. I did that for a couple months. And when I say fast day, you're pushing. The goal is you want to finish the run and you're keeled over. Your hands are on your knees and you're going, trying to breathing fast. And you're like, okay, I did it because you're pushing. Because the only way to get better is you got to struggle through it and push through it. And you have to actually go past what you're comfortable and get past your threshold. That's what's going to make you get better. And that's what I wanted. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Back to back fast days and a recovery. I've been doing that. And some days I would have back to back recovery days if I had to add that in, or a day off is what I would do. And just see how it would go. My December experiment is a little twisted because I never did the whole time in the past few months of doing this, coming back from out of shape. I didn't do my fast days any warm up. I stretched, yes. I got my body jumping jacks and all that stuff. I got that warm up, but I didn't get a warm up of let's do a mile or two warm up, let's do 15-minute, 20-minute warm up, then let's do track work or something. I didn't do that. I would just start my run and go at the pace I wanted to go and just let it rip. And that's what I would do. But what I noticed was when I got closer to 7 minute mile pace, it's harder and harder to hold those paces back to back days. I was getting a lot harder because I noticed it. In the beginning, when you're running 8 minute mile pace, 9, 10 minute mile pace, you can hold those paces for maybe 4 or 5 miles and you're doing okay. And the next day, if you do it, it's not so bad. It's harder to push, but you can hold it on. But I noticed your first mile or two, your body is warming up, and then the last few miles, you're like, I feel great. I noticed with myself, the closer I got to 7 miles, the harder it was the first mile was. So I had to run the first mile slower, And then as I got into the run, I'd run faster and faster. And probably some people out there who run kind of know what I'm talking about. You feel like the first mile, even though you're pushing hard, it's almost like the legs are warming up. And then as you get into the run, you're doing like negative splits basically by the end in a way. You're doing faster and faster because your legs are warm. So I decided that I want to change something up. I'm under 7 minute mile pace now. I want to get faster. I want to get quicker. I want to get faster quicker. I want to get going where I want to go. I don't want to be at 7 mile pace. I don't want to be at 7:30. I don't want to be 8 minutes. I want to get faster. So now that I'm under 7 minutes, because as of the end of November, finally getting under 7 minute mile pace, but I wasn't plateauing, but I wasn't getting as fast. So I came up with this idea called my December Christmas experiment. On December 2nd of this year, which was 10 days ago, because today's the 12th as I record this on December, I decided that instead of doing back-to-back days fast and then one day off, I said, what happens? Because this is the reason why I started this. Actually, let me back up real quick. On December 2nd, I ran a fast day, right? It was 6:46 mile pace, which is great, right? I came off of an off day on the first. I sat in the jacuzzi the day before. Everything was good. I had good water. Everything was recovered. I was awesome. I said I'm gonna do the same pace next day. I held the same pace for like 2 miles, and I couldn't hold it anymore. And I was like, okay, something's got to give. It's getting hard. It's been getting harder and harder at this point. At this point, it's almost like my brain gave up, and I couldn't hold it. So I cut the run short on the third because the day after the second, and I said I can't do this anymore. And I ran easy like a recovery on the fourth. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna break up the back-to-back fast days and then have an easy day and say let's alternate every other day. So I'm gonna do fast day, recovery, easy day, recovery slash easy day, fast day, recovery slash easy day, fast day, recovery day, fast day, recovery, fast day. Alternate every other day. And I was asking myself, can I do that every other day for like 21 days or 30 days, whatever? And I said, that might work. And if I do that, I'm still getting the fast days in, I'm getting recovery in, but I'm not getting that second day fatigue that I've been seeing the past few weeks that I don't like. That was what was going through my mind. So even though I officially decided to try this run, these fast runs on the second, third time frame, I really didn't get into the every other day thing until like the fourth, because I did easy day on the fourth, and the fifth I did fast, and then the sixth I did easy, and then seventh I did fast. So I really didn't start really to the fourth officially, but it was amazing seeing on the 2nd of December at 6:46, and then today I got 6:32 mile pace per mile. I ran a 5.5. The thing that I've changed also for this December experiment is I am now warming up 2 miles before I run. So now I have 2 mile where I'm running easy pace. I'm not worried about the time. I'm just getting my legs loosened. That's what I'm doing. I'm loosening my legs up and then I'm going. The goal was 4 miles and then seeing what happens. Okay. I start this whole process, this whole experiment is, can I go from the December 2nd time frame to, I chose Christmas as my day. It's about almost 3 weeks. 21 days to make a habit, I figured. Hey, 21 days is a good time to make a habit, right? If I can get to 21 days, I can do a month because it's an extra week. You just keep going because you get into the habit of doing it every day, right? Can I go fast day one day, easy day one day, fast day one day, easy day one day, and go every day, no days off, all the way to Christmas? That was the first thing. The second thing is, can I drop these faster paces, which means I'm going to actually require my body by looking at the watch to go a certain pace and also listen to it how I feel because I want to make sure I don't break in this time frame. So this whole experiment is to go every day with no days off all the way to Christmas Day. Christmas Day will be a fast day. It will, but it'll be the fastest of this whole thing. The goal is also to hit four miles is the goal. It's 4 to 5 is what I came up with, but I'm noticing I'm hitting 4.5. And when I get to roughly about 4 miles, when I'm about a quarter from the way, I start going for the sprint. We all do this. We know we have a half mile to go or half quarter mile to go. It's roughly 2 minutes to go, roughly, or maybe it's a minute and a half, whatever. We start getting that sprint down, going as fast as we can until we punch through. So I decided to change. Also part of this experiment of every other day, one day fast, one day slow, and then go all the way to Christmas is require myself. Oh, sorry. I'm requiring myself to drop 2 seconds per mile every single time I go out there. So far, it's been working. So far, we'll see what happens as we go through. But that's why I call this an experiment. Drop 2 minutes per mile pace every single time. That means the idea I had on the second, I was at 6:46, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So basically, it's almost like 11, it's like 10, 11 days I'm going to supposed to be going down to 20 seconds, right? My goal was to go from 646 to under 630. 646 to 630 mile pace by Christmas within 3 weeks. That's pretty generous. To go drop 15 seconds, 16 if I'm lucky, within 3 weeks. That's a pretty good drop, I think. However, on top of that, every other day, no days off, push my body to go faster every single day and train the brain to embrace the suck and just push through. Listen to the body so I don't break. Also add an element there that most people don't talk about. I call it the Schwarzenegger zone. If you read Arnold Schwarzenegger's book on lifting, he says you're doing these sets, right, and the reps. And he says when you have, say you're lifting, you have 10 reps a set. He says, when do you stop? He says when you hit the 11th one, meaning you go passing through what you're trying to get. So he says on the actual bodybuilding, so you're at 7, 8, you're pushing through. He says you want to get to that 12th, that 11th, 12th, 13th one. You want to go past what your body can do, and that's where the real gains happen. So I took that whole concept and brought it into my running and said 3 minutes is roughly the key. Maybe I can go past it, maybe I go right before, but that 3 minutes is the key. When I start that sprint, I want to hit it and say, hit the watch if I want to do the watch, or just hit it and go. I want to hold this sprint for 3 minutes. The Schwarzenegger zone. That's where the benefit's going to come to the point where once I finish, my body's done. That's the Schwarzenegger zone I want to hit, and I've been doing that so far every single race, every single fast day I'm doing it. But it's been painful. Let me tell you, it's been hard. But the sense of accomplishment and like, oh my, wow, is electrifying at the end of the run. I have this good pump. I feel I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I usually been doing it right. I started like quarter mile to go, and I just start holding it and say, how long can I hold this? And there are days I go past that 3 minute, and I keel over at the end. And I mean, I'm going through to the end where I finish. My hands are on my knees. I'm bent over, and the breathing is very heavy and rapidly, and I feel like I'm gonna die. But I know that I just pushed my body past something that it was capable of doing. And when I recover and I heal, I'll be even better because your body will adjust. That's a Schwarzenegger zone in a nutshell. Maybe I'll explain it better later on, or I'll come up with a better way, but that's what it is. So this whole December experiment is, can I get from when I started between the 2nd and the 4th of December, because this whole thing came up in those 3 days, to Christmas Day, running every day, getting faster every day, and I had to adjust. This is the one thing that's changed since I started this whole program back on the 2nd, because on December 2nd, I ran a 6:46 mile pace. Today, December 12th, as I record this, on December 12th, 2018, I ran a 6:32 mile pace. I've already dropped 14 seconds. This is insane. I dropped 14 seconds already. Oh, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. December 2nd, I ran a 6:44. I'm probably doing it wrong, but one thing I did know is from the 2nd to the 9th, which is these are both Sundays, I ran fast on December 2nd and fast on December 9th because I had that 3 and 4 days where I didn't get to do every other day. I kind of had an off day on the 3rd, and then I really started on the 4th. I dropped 10 seconds, and then I had another 2. So yeah, I'm down. I'm not down 14. I'm down 12. I'm sorry. December 2nd, I was at 6:44. That's what it was. And now on December 12th, 10 days later, I'm at 6:32. I'm down 12 seconds in 10 days. That is insane. I wish my goal was to drop roughly 15 seconds from the 2nd to Christmas, that time frame. But now, 10 days in, I'm at 12 seconds faster at 32. So I decided to challenge myself a little bit further. I broke it out and said, okay, my goal now is to break 6 minutes and 15 seconds a mile by Christmas, which means I'll have dropped from 6:44 to 6:14 in that time. That's 23. It's 23 days, just over 3 weeks. Right around 3 weeks. It's just over 3 weeks. 30 seconds Is that possible? Most people probably think it's insane. I know I thought it was insane before, but this is an insane experiment, but I think it's a good experiment to try and see if the body is capable. I know the mind is willing because every day. And I tell myself, this is and the other thing about this whole experiment, it's a 30-minute process. I'm going for 30 minutes. I'm noticing I'm hitting every day roughly 4.5 miles. And it's around 30 minutes. Right now, I hit the 4.5 miles at 29 minutes and 20 seconds. That's where I'm at. And so I looked at if I want to keep it at 30 minutes as that threshold. The reason I came up with 30 minutes is just because that's where the 4.5 mile was. So I was shooting for the 4 mile marker and I blew past it. I was like, okay, let's hold on for that 3 minutes. And I just kept going and I hit the 4.5. So I got to stop. And I noticed it was around that 30-minute mark. It was like 30 minutes and I think 30 seconds, whatever, when I first started. I don't remember exact time. But then I was reading about Roger Bannister when he was trying to break the 4-minute mile with his buddies over there in England, that they would only train for 30 minutes at a time and he'd be done. He'd have a rabbit with him that would go off and help him, and he would go with them, and they would do these track workouts. But after 30 minutes was done, they call it a day or call it time. They train more often. Maybe they go for a second session in the evening or whatever, but they would only train for 30 minutes at a time. So I thought it was kind of ironic that my 4.5 mile time came to be 30 minutes, and I kept it. I mean, pushing 30 minutes every time, and Roger Bannister did the same thing. Something I thought was interesting. So this is my December experiment. Can I survive doing this whole thing every other day? Keep going fast. Drop 30 seconds from time to December 2nd to December 25th on Christmas Day. Hit it by 30 seconds. 6:44 to 6:14, and not break. The main thing here is to not break, not get hurt. So far, no injuries. Let's knock on wood if I can. No injuries at all. No, nothing ripped. No tendons broken. Nothing. And this is my whole December experiment. When I brought it up to, I've talked about it, and when I say it out loud, it sounds insane because I don't know anybody out there who talks about doing stuff like this. And I think it's something that's worth trying as we go forward in life. And I think maybe I should try this for 3 months straight and see what happens. Could I get down to 4.5 minute mile pace? Could I get down to the 4 minute mile pace? Or do I have to do the original? Because basically I'm doing a tempo every other day is what I'm doing. And no one talks about that. They always say you have to do hills, track sprints, tempos, like all these other things, plus recovery and all that stuff. I'm throwing all that out the window and just saying, let's just do a fast pace every single day. Hold the same pace as even as possible for each mile split, each lap split on a track, whatever it is. Keep it as even as possible and just hold it. And that's what I'm doing. And that's my experiment. Completely different from what people say out there you should do. Complete opposite. But I think it's a good experiment to try and see if it'll work. Now, I think my next podcast I want to talk about my ideas on training and how I have a couple ideas on what I think people are doing differently or could do differently to help in their training, but also what I think elites could do differently. I'm not an elite runner right now, but where I want to head, I want to be up with those people, and I want to surpass them and I'm an American, so I want to bring America back on the threshold, and I think there's some ways to do it. And this is one of the ideas I have, and I'll break it down in the podcast later on. But welcome to my December 2018 Christmas experiment. It's broken down. This is a little longer than I thought it was going to be, but I hope that all made sense. Thank you for listening, and see you on the next one.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.